I work for a construction company in my day job. So most of my days are adding numbers together. And a few years back, I had a colleague ask me to write in a journal to say, try it. It's a creative exercise. Help let the other half of your brain breathe a little bit. And so I started writing in a journal, frustrations and questions, and they started to find answers. I guess I've been learning these lessons all my life. But when I'd start to see scriptures pop back into my mind, like, oh, that's what that meant. I never saw it that way. Or I saw a line at the end of it. Wait, those 3 words I never noticed before. That's what that meant. So I started writing these down and I put them on the website, and they're 5-10-minute reads. They're small devotionals. And I had so many friends that like to turn a real page. They don't like reading on the computer. I said, well, could you just print a few? So, okay. So I started working on the book process. So let's see if I could do this. And so that's how the first book came. It's a collection of these short stories. The first book has 40 stories in it. It was very intentional to put 40 because 40 shows up in the Bible so many times as a time of testing. So it was like, okay, let's see what this does. And I mostly gave them away. And I was surprised by people that I didn't even know they read. Or I gave it to their wife or gave it to their child, and they'd come back and say, oh, that's pretty nice. I didn't know you wrote. Well, I guess I didn't either. And so that's what started the process. So I didn't start out as an author. I've been writing music. I play piano and guitar for a long time. And so it's just another creative outlet. And that's how this all came to be. They're all collections of smart, they call them devotionals, short stories, devotionals, parables. Some of them are funny. Some of them are very deep. It's when I see something clicks. I call it my spidey sense for those that are Spider-Man fans. You see something or you hear something like, okay, there's more story to that. And some of them are very good for my heart. Some people will read them and it doesn't even touch them at all. Sometimes it's just for me. And so it's a collection. I still have, the next book, probably next summer, I may have the next in the series put together. I write these, publish them maybe weekly on the website when I have time. And so it's just a collection. But I've been impressed by some of the people that have written it. I spoke with a lady, a colleague the other day that said, I've got it on my bedside table. I read it every single night. She goes, I hope you don't mind. I highlighted a few. I said, oh, no, go ahead, highlight. So it's been very good for people that I didn't expect to call up and say, this one story really hit me. Tell me what was the inspiration. And most all the stories, I can tell you who it was, where it was. They're very personal to me. So they all have a backstory to them. Story, we had a rain shower the night before. And I was walking across the parking lot and I slipped in some mud. It was just simple. I slipped in some mud and it was all up my pants leg. My shoes were soaked. And I kind of sat there and laughed at it like, well, you saw the puddle was there. Why did you walk through it? And it was I was going through a season where I wasn't real proud of myself at the time. And so I sat down and thought about it and like, okay, you slipped in that mud for a reason. Let's dive into that and find out what that was. Don't just look at the mud that's on your shoes and kind of dive into what the mud's on the rest of you. And so it's like, wow, okay, I don't know that if you can write that was so good. And then I started writing it and started digging through scriptures would pop in my head or, and then the next time it was, I don't know, a month later, I was in the same parking lot. We just had a rain shower and I walked that direction. The puddle was still there and I stepped around it this time. Oh, wait a minute. And I didn't even realize it until afterwards. So I came back out. Okay, there's that story. You learn something the first time you walk through that mud puddle, and inside and outside. And I wrote about how long it took to wipe. I had a meeting later. How long it took to wipe the mud off my pants, off my shoes. I had to be somewhat presentable, and so that turned into the story too. Like, how long did it take me to get through to clean off the mud on the inside. And then the next time, like, wow, I'm glad that I didn't step in that puddle again. And it started hitting me with the metaphors. Like, I'm glad that I got through that season and didn't step that way again. So that's how they happen. Sometimes it's just something really strange, something funny, and I start laughing for no reason. My friends look at me like, what are you laughing at? And I said, no, if you knew my brain, you would understand what I'm laughing at. And it's like angels unaware, angels laughing at you. My mother used to say, never run faster than your angels can fly. And she goes, sometimes your angels go, oh, do I have to fly with him today? You know, that kind of thing. So there's some humor. There's certainly some humor in it. But I don't have a writing schedule. I know most authors do. It's like, okay, something comes up, God says, all right, listen, I'm trying to teach you something here. And that's where they come. Sometimes I'll write 3 in a week. Sometimes I'll write 1 in a month. They just come as, I guess it's when I listen. God's always trying to tell me something, but I guess it's just when I listen. And they're very therapeutic for me to write down, get all my thoughts in order, put them down on paper. And then it's interesting to go back in my journal to go see what a year ago I was writing about and realize, oh yeah, I'm still struggling with that one. You know, and write again how, well, it's not the same this time, but yeah, it's still the same thing. So it's just a group of devotionals. I call them parables. I like calling them God Whispers because that's probably more realistic to what I do. Most of the time I think they're for me. And I always say, if it just reaches one person and that person is me in that one moment, or that 1 second, then all of it was worth it. So I just wanted to expand my readership. I don't do a lot of marketing. I give away more books than I sell. And I let God do what he's going to do with it. Anytime I start spending time on marketing and websites and all the other things you're supposed to be doing, I'm like, I need to be writing. And I'm sure most authors are that way too. They would much rather be sitting at their computer or wherever they writing than worrying about publishing and all the other things that you're supposed to do to get this out there. So I just want to let God take it where he's going to. It's hard to do sometimes because everyone wants to be a New York Times bestseller, you know, but that's not what he wants to do with it right now. On my website, over the years, I've gone and looked at where people have read my stuff. People have accessed the website. And 36, 37 countries that people have opened up. You know, some places I didn't even know where they were on the map. I'm like, okay, I've got to find out where that's at. But anywhere from Russia to China to Southeast Asia, you know, America, South America, that I was amazed that I didn't do anything to send those out to these people finding these. That it was all God taking it where he needed it. And hopefully it wasn't just a computer that was looking for something and it popped up. Hopefully someone needed to read it at the time they found it. So I kind of sit back. It's a lesson in patience. It's a lesson in trust. And it's like, God, you do with it what you want. I'm trying to sit back and let you do with it what you want. That's not easy sometimes, but it's been really rewarding to hear back from people that one particular story touched them, or most of them, it's been people saying, I didn't know you wrote. I was not aware you were an author. Okay. For a lot of years of my life, I wasn't aware I was an author either. So I just hope people will find it when they need to find it. Something came across the internet on the Instagram and said, okay, we're looking for books. And then I was looking at it like, well, first of all, this sounds like a scam. So I did some research on it. It certainly did. I said, you know what? It would be really cool to have some of my books in England. I think that would just be exciting.